to grow from 5 to 6 figures in 3 months. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this video is all about how literally to grow from 5 to 6 figures in 3 months. Firstly, congratulations for getting to 5 figures. This in itself is a celebratory milestone. So how do we now take the shift from 5 to 6 figures? Now, what might be happening for you at the moment is when you're in this, like, I'm going to do it. I want to do it. I'm so excited. I'm excited. I'm also feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Where do I start? How do I do this? Can I even happen? Is it even possible? I'm here to say yes, it is possible. And I'm going to show you the exact steps you can take to achieve it in your business today. The first thing that's going to be really key for you is simplicity and consistency. So when you're trying to achieve the next milestone of growth, whether it's from the 5 to the 6, 6 to the 7, 7 to the 8, so on and so forth, what happens is it's kind of like, oh my God, this is so scary. How do I do this? Because you've never done it before. So there's going to be a level of overwhelm. Now, if you haven't, please go back and watch my video all about the comfort zone. And that talks about what's normal when we get outside of our comfort zone. That's going to give you more context and awareness going into this. If you have watched it, thank you so very much. I hope you enjoyed it. So there's a really amazing trick that I use, and it's so incredibly helpful. And I'm going to teach that to you now. So the trick is, because you're already 5 figures in business, you have already achieved 5 figures in business. What we're now trying to do is collapse time in how long it takes you to achieve those 5 figures. Now, the reason I'm focusing on 5 figures instead of 6 is because you've already hit 5 figures. So it's actually not new to you. So you're not going to have all that overwhelm, all that discomfort, all that I can't do it, because you've actually done it. You've got the evidence to show, to support that you've actually done this before. So what we do here is I want you to have a look at your financials, have a look at your Xero, your QuickBooks, your Excel, however you keep track of your financials, and list out where you made the most amount of money in your business in the past 12 months. The reason this is important is because when we want to grow to that next level, you want to grow strategically, but also smartly. And I say smart in terms of we want to collapse time and make it a hell of a lot quicker and easier to do it again and again and again. And it's the awareness of your financials that's going to give us the power of where to put our effort and our focus. So this intentionality of this next chapter of growth for you is all about consistency. And I'm talking consistency in terms of your belief that you can do it, your consistency in your focus, your consistency in your energy, and your consistency in how you show up. Because what you're doing is you're now channeling and focusing your energy into a very specific way to earn money because you've done it before. So with your financials and a pen and paper, if you watched any of my other videos, I always say get a pen and paper, because I'm going to give you a whole lot of wisdom and gold here, and write it down, because that's the first step to take action. Go through your financials and write down where you made the big chunks of money, where you made the significant amount of revenue in your business, and then write down the expenses associated with those revenue streams. Expenses in terms of monetary, but also your time commitment. Now, this is going to be important because for you to be able to achieve this in 3 months, we need to know how much time you have to actually dedicate to this or have space for this to grow into this. So for example, if you're a coach and a majority of your funds come in through coaching programs where you do one-on-ones, for example, and you've made $10,000 from your one-on-one coaching and now you want to up it, what's going to be important to note is if you increase that number, how much of your time has to increase to do that? Whereas if you were to if you do group coaching, for example, and it's a smaller container, but you can scale your time considerably, maybe it's a better alternative for you to do that. Now, why this is important, as I said, your mantra, the intentionality of this season of growth for you is focus. Literally look at your financials. Where did the most amount of money come from? Which revenue stream? And what did you enjoy the most? We always want to attach what did you enjoy the most, because when you enjoy it and you're the one who has to manage it, has to execute it, has to create it, you will do so better when you enjoy it and when you're energetically behind it. If you're doing it because you feel like you have to and you hate it, you will self-sabotage. You'll find reasons why it's not going to work and excuses why you don't want to do it. Look at your financials. Where did the majority of the money come from? And which ones did you enjoy the most? Now, if you were to scale that up, which is what we're doing, if you were to literally scale that up, what would that look like for you now? How much time would you have to dedicate to it? How much would the expenses be for that? Now, the second part to this is now actually put it in your calendar. I know. Anytime I'm wanting to change my income, it means I need to change my calendar, because my calendar tells me the time that I'm spending on the activities. Wherever you're spending your time, that's where your energy is going. And if you're wanting to make more money, you need to free up space in order to receive more money. And this space might look like half an hour in the morning where you do a financial analysis to better understand where you are and set your goals for the coming week. This might be doing half an hour in the morning where you write down your goals, what it is you want to achieve, and how you believe you're going to do this. By just having that focus first thing in the morning is going to shift your focus in where you spend your time and energy. So put this in your calendar. And I always have a lot of fun on this. So when I was moving from 5 to 6 figures, and I think I was charging like $75 an hour at the time, and I was having one-on-one clients, and they were staying with me for like, a few sessions and then coming and going, and I didn't actually have clear boundaries. So what was happening is, because I didn't have boundaries, people were coming in and out, and I didn't have a lot of consistency. And then I was over that, and I was like, okay, I really want to have it like a bit more of a cemented business. So what I did is I put a boundary in place and had them sign contracts. That was my boundary to go, you're going to work with me for 3 months and it's at this price a month. So then I had more reoccurring monthly income, and I knew how much was coming in. So I knew what my gap was. I knew how much more I wanted to make. And so I just kept repeating that. Now, from a mindset standpoint, what I did, so I've just told you the strategy. That's literally all you do, is you just look at your financials and go, well, where did I make the most amount of my money? And how can I double up those efforts? But without doubling up my time. So how can I be innovative and strategic in this? And that requires space to think on and ponder. It's not something that might come in naturally if you're not a strategist, but you want to create space to think about it. So again, if you give yourself half an hour in the morning, it can literally just be thinking time. How can I receive 6 figures in 3 months? How can I do that? And that's how you collapse time, because you're creating space to open up ideas and opportunities for you to receive that. If your calendar is jam-packed, you literally don't have space to do anything more than what's already on your calendar. So you're going to keep doing the same thing. So start by just shifting subtly what's on your calendar. Then from a mindset standpoint, so something I did is I wanted to move from 5 figures, and I wanted to make $120,000 in my business in a couple of months, because we wanted to move overseas. It was in COVID. It was all of these things were happening. I've told this story before, but I was like, I don't know how to do that. It's too much money, all this stuff. And I was like overwhelmed, and I was like, well, what can I control? Because I have no idea how this is going to happen, because I'd only made like a little bit at that stage and then a little bit more, and it wasn't that consistent. Like, I didn't have that you got this, you can do this confidence like I do now. So I woke up in the morning every day. And yes, it was difficult because I had a young baby at the time, but I still woke up because I wanted to create something new. So I had to think something new consciously and deliberately. So each and every day I woke up and meditated for an hour. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this. This is what I did. And if somebody's like, yeah, I love meditating, then by all means, please do it. But if you're like, I probably got 10 minutes, then apply this. But it's not about the time, it's about what I did. So I put do not disturb on my phone. It was basically a do not disturb me space, because I gave myself an hour of my own time each and every day to envision the new level of growth I wanted to get to that 120Ks. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I imagined the 120Ks and how it felt to be there. And then the more that I practiced it, the more that I believed that I could do it. A strategy without belief will never work, because if you don't have belief in it, subconsciously you're going to sabotage. Subconsciously you're going to not take action, you're going to procrastinate, you're going to say all the reasons why you can't do it, and then you're going to use it as an excuse to just give up. But it's with the strategy and this mindset tool or technique that's going to help you believe and start to believe it's possible. And as you start to believe it's possible, then it starts to create more and more and more and more of a compounding effect and becomes easier and easier and easier. So the way I did it is I woke up in the morning and I meditated. I do Joe Dispenza, specifically his meditations, but you don't have to. You can do anybody's that you want. So the Joe Dispenza one specifically I did was the abundance one. So it was an hour long, and I would just spend that time cultivating the emotions of how it would feel when I hit those 6 figures. Because the other thing is, when you hit 6 figures, it's not going to solve all your problems. You're still going to have problems. So it's about cultivating how you actually want to feel. Why is it you're wanting to achieve this? What is the meaning behind it? When you bring meaning behind the numbers become that driving force, because your emotion is that driving force. If you just go, I want to do 6 figures because everyone else is there, but you haven't expanded on what that means for you and your family, then it's going to be a lot harder to reach it, because you're going to have an excuse to stop. You will always have an excuse to stop on your entrepreneurial journey. Trust me, you will be put up against barriers time and time again. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this as the true, honest, if anything worth having in life, you do have to create that resilience to keep going. And that's the resilience that's attached to your why are you doing something that's going to drive you forward, where you can dig deep in those moments where you're like, I want to give up, but I'm not going to. And that's okay. So my why at that stage was to move over to the UK, fly business class. I really wanted to fly business class. And we had like a young child at that stage. And I just wanted to kind of be held, to be honest. It had been COVID, it had been a really mentally and emotionally hard stage in our lives. And I was like, I just want to be sipping champagne in business class. There we go. And so that was a huge motivator for me. I didn't post any photos on social media. It wasn't to be like, look at us. It was just to be like, I want this to be how we finish off our stint in Australia. And it was a beautiful driving force for me, because it meant so much to me. It was beyond the external. It was so much about what we'd accomplished and what that would mean for us. So with that drive, that's what got me up in the morning, sometimes at 4 a.m, to do these meditations before my son woke up, so I could focus in on what the day was. And the reason you want to do it in the morning is so your morning sets the tone for the day, and the day sets the tone for the week, and the week sets the tone for the month, and the month sets it for the quarter and the year. So if you're not willing to start now, then why are you going to start tomorrow? So start now. Start in the morning. The more you start in the morning, the more you put yourself first and the future that you want first. Anytime I'm achieving a new goal, I will always focus my time and energy first thing in the morning on what I want to achieve, so I'm not sucked into yesterday and what happened. Because what happens is, if you keep getting sucked into what happened yesterday, then tomorrow is going to be the same, which means your tomorrow is going to look like your yesterday, and again and again. If you want to create a new tomorrow, you have to create a new today. To create a new today, you need to start in the morning by going, what is it that I want? And giving yourself time to think about it, to visualize it, to write it down, to meditate on it, to go for a walk and just think about it and let your mind wander. Whatever it is that you need to do, that is what's going to help you. And the more you do this in the background of the strategy, the more they work together, because you can't have one without the other. It's all interconnected. The stronger your belief becomes, the stronger your strategy becomes, and the ideas you have to execute, and the more energy you'll have to execute your ideas and get those results very quickly. So, on that note, how to grow from 5 to 6 figures in 3 months. From a strategic standpoint, look at your financials. Where did the majority of the money come from? What's the expenses and what's your time commitment? What does that look like if you 10 times that? Is it possible to 10 times it? That's how we start to figure out, is this scalable? Then the next thing is the mindset. You want to just start visualizing the next goal in your brain in the morning, because you know what? Your brain does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined, which means you get to trick your brain into believing that you're already a 6-figure business owner, which means it's going to show you all the opportunities and all the ways that you are a 6-figure business owner. So on that note, you have got this. I believe in you. To your success, keep taking an action step each and every day. This intentionality for the next chapter of growth, focus for you. You have got this. Believe me, you've got this. I'm cheering you on every single step of the way. If you need any additional resources, my links are down below. Remember to share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.